This podcast is brought to you by Emotional Damage. Welcome to the Josiah's Experience. Today we're gonna mine for gold again. Once again, we got our guests Jenna, Billy, Tammi, and Max. The topic for today is building your mind palace. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes had this process which he used to solve his crimes, where he would go into his mind palace. In this place, he had all the answers. He had all the facts and figures, all the stories, memories, things he's seen. Just like in the movie Limitless, he would just start meditating, go into that palace, and find the information that he needed. This is something that is entirely possible. I don't know if you guys have ever experimented with this, but I read a book a short while ago called Memory in a Month by Ron White. It spoke about this strategy where you take locations. This is a system engineered by the Romans, I think, and they used to call it Loki. And Loki means, for example, and I'll start with this and then we'll begin the conversation, but I just want to give you a good framework for this. The Loki framework is basically like, let's say, think about your childhood home, the home you lived when you were a child. Now pick a room in that house. Do you see it? Okay. Now take a framework that you're studying right now in your psychology, in your coaching, in your business. Take a framework. You got it? Something you're learning right now or that you know. Something that's clear that you can make clear. Okay. Now save it in that room. Put it inside the room. Do you see it clearly? Tammy's got it. Okay. How did that feel? Let's begin there. That little icebreaker right there. What did that? Have you heard about this before? What do you think about it? Do you think it's total bullcrap or do you think it's useful?
Well, I looked it up when you had mentioned it on the voice note you sent me, and I don't think that I found the right thing. That maybe I had the spelling wrong, but this type of thinking and philosophy and mentalities is absolutely fascinating. I think there's so much more to it than we realize, and I always like to tell people, like, you just don't know what you don't know. But once you've experienced some things like this, you can't unsee them or unexperience them. So yes, I can go right back to the bedroom of my little girl self and put things that I'm going through now. I'm very much I feel things innately and deeply and have a crazy wild imagination. So I think
Perfect.
there's so I think we have so much more control with maybe controls. No, maybe not control is a too strong of a word. There's an absolute fascination with the mind and the power that we could have if we choose to harness it. And I think it does come down to awareness and choice. So it's a fascinating conversation. I'm in.
Excellent.
So I've heard of this concept in many ways over my 60 years on the planet. It's called associative memory. You associate your memory to something that you are strongly tied to, especially something new you're attempting to learn or something you're attempting to remember, like a list. People that are good at it, who practiced it a little bit, can memorize lists of, say, 30, 40, 50 things very quickly. Actually, even in one iteration, if they're practiced at it. Because when you say milk, they think milk and honey. Any kind of associations that are common, and then use them. And our brains are incredibly powerful at tapping into what I'd call our subconscious ability to draw stuff forth. And some people would call it the superconscious even, or God power. And I learned the concept 25 or so years ago of having a virtual, boardroom, virtual boardroom, where you can have famous people that are currently alive. Say you're studying wealth. You want Elon Musk and the founder of, Zuckerberg from Facebook, etc. These guys have made billions recently. And old people that are no longer here, like Napoleon Hill, James Earl Jones, other people that are maybe fascinating, like Einstein, Tesla. You can have them all on your board for differing aspects of the type of work you're doing or whatever you're trying to think about. And then ask your mind, what would Tesla tell me about this? If you're talking about, say, a physics thing or something, what would Einstein say about it? And have two different perspectives that are both your brain will associate to what you know of those men to allow you to hear in your own mind's ear what they would say. Napoleon Hill famously did it. He interviewed the devil in his head and wrote a book called Outwitting the Devil, which is a phenomenal piece of work about how to keep the little voice in the back of your mind, i.e. the devil, from talking you into or out of the success you want or into doing stuff that'll get you into trouble.
Excellent. What about you, Max? What are your thoughts?
So I really resonate with what you guys are saying. I think I've been thinking a lot about just like actions and results lately, and And I analyzed like my own actions. And like there was one time I gave myself a challenge to do 6 videos a day to get better at video content because I wasn't confident in it at all. Every single day on 3 platforms for 6 months straight, and I didn't take a break at all. And so, for example, taking that, I realized what I did was, so I had to first start with my mindset and then take action and then optimize that action. And I think a lot of people, they open their mind up and they want to jump right to that first step, like having perfect action, optimizing action. And like, that's what they call it. And I think we always have to like take a step back, see what we're truly inviting in, because where is that coming from? It's like the ego, it's just like, we're all scrolling, we get instant gratification. We apply that to so many other things. I think when you slow down and you compartmentalize your mind into being more conscious about things, about what you invite in, about where you want to go, what you're going to do, who you're going to interact with, how you're going to interact with yourself, how you're going to like celebrate your actions, where you want to go. Like we always want to first be clear and then like set really easy goals, and then we can start to more correctly create that future. And Billy Joe, it's funny you just say that because I audiobooked Outwitting the Devil like 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago. So it's like really fresh for me. And that book is one that I want to go back to. Like
I revisit it every year to 2 years on my Audible.
Yeah,
it's a very entertaining way to hear it because they kind of old-time radioed it.
Got a couple other Napoleon Hill books on Audible. I liked hearing it. There's this guy on YouTube who did like a character voice. I don't know if the Audible version does that for the devil and the Napoleon Hill, and it was like really engaging.
The Audible, I haven't listened to. I'm about to re-listen to it. It's on my list for this year. As I remember it, there's a narrator, a voice for Napoleon Hill, and a voice for the devil. Those are inherent in the Audible version. The narrator is female, and then 2 different male voices, or maybe it's just a voice actor who's doing 2 different male voices for Napoleon Hill and the devil.
Yeah, it makes it really fun. And like I guess I'll wrap this up with like the voice of the devil being not just like something negative, but also something like I'm just going to drift, I'm going to chill, because that's what I did for most of my life. Really, really impacted me, which is I find that often comes from wanting to be perfect or like super good and not knowing how to because your goal is too big and you didn't like get the steps, and then just letting that overwhelm you and choosing to do nothing because it's easier.
Those of us that are old enough remember having to struggle to become good at something. We didn't have social media giving us the illusion that people are instantly good at stuff. The overnight sensation of the rock star on a stage usually has 20, 30, 40 years of them struggling, playing bars and stuff like that, their whole, and practicing the piano or the guitar or whatever their instrument is for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours before they are suddenly in the limelight. I'm a master at what I do, not because I decided I was going to be a master. I just started studying it, and it fell into a habit in my mind palace, if you will. I became obsessed with knowing more. When I became obsessed with knowing more and becoming smarter at it, more wizened at that, for my own health and transformation. And then people started coming to me for the advice, and then that fueled the fire. And that voice of the devil that tells you just to chill and whatnot, that's not a benevolent voice. It's just chilling. There's times for taking time to meditate or restore or recharge. However, if you're just chilling and it becomes a habit that's keeping you from going for your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, you are very much listening to the devil, no different than the devil talking you into eating that bowl of ice cream when you know you shouldn't, trying to lose 100 pounds.
All right, let's get back to the mind palace. Jenna, what do you get from this? Let's try to be like, what I'm trying to do is create an actual mind palace where we can interact right now and like have not only the abstract concepts, but I'm trying to connect the abstract with the tangible. That's why the mind palace comes into play.
I've actually never heard of that specific concept, but I am very into mindset. And actually, to follow up on what Billy was saying, I was thinking about it when Max was talking, is the habits. And when I started studying a lot of the mindset work, to me, I was like, it's actually more than that, right? Like to me, it's identity and it's habits and your choices and the way you think. And like you were saying, what you allow into your life, what you tolerate, like that actually creates the person, right? That up-leveled person, or like Billy was saying about, how you just became obsessed with what you were doing and now you're the master, right? But that's identity. That's more than just what you be able to swallow up by your actions. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. When I step into my palace, I see first, if your mind had a home, where would it be? Example, a childhood house, house, like we said, a museum, a temple in the woods, a spaceship, a city made of light, what would it look like? What would it be? Where would it be?
I would say the ocean.
Okay.
Big, vast, endless.
Tammi
I
Jo?
resonate with that. I would say up on a cliff overlooking the ocean. I have something on my manifestation board that is like very, very grounded with the rocks, but the ocean is right there. So you get the sensation of all of it. But water is a must. Being up high is a must. And just like being close to where the eagles soar.
I love that. I love water and I love being high.
I think I'm going to join Jenna and Tammi Jo. My mind palace boardroom really is a panoramic overlook of a western sunset beach with stairs that go down off the veranda to the beach, so you can go and enjoy the beach at any time. Yeah, high enough up to be away from any kind of like storms and stuff coming in. A panoramic wraparound glass so we can watch that. A huge boardroom table that I can have a virtual summit of like 100 of the best minds in the world, so that I have access to anything and everything.
I recommend to you, if you have you ever been to Guatemala? Okay, in Guatemala there's this place called San Pedro or Atitlan, Lago Atitlan, and then you go to this lake and they got like 5 little towns around it. One of the towns is called San Marcos, and
I've heard of it.
San Marcos, you take this hike. It's about an hour hike. You take up a mountain. At the top of this mountain there is a yoga studio with a plexiglass overview of the bottom of the mountain. I recommend this place actually, yeah, for all of you, because you like mountain heights and
I've seen
stuff.
pictures of that place.
Yeah, it's nice. I recommend it. Max, what is your mind palace look like? Your location?
Shade, just that forest vibe, mountainous, but like also where the actual place is not necessarily like sort of steep something,
Whoa.
But I really like forest. There's probably a stream, but not necessarily like a beach, like Billy Joe's background.
What do you guys think the difference is? Oh, I see the painting. Well, actually no, but actually Tammi Jo has a forest in a painting up there. So question for everybody: what do you think is that? Because I think most of us are beachy, mountain. I love this. This was in one of my So what do you think is the difference here between our mindsets? Max wants to be in the forest. We want to be on a mountain on the beach. What do you think that difference is in between? How would that relate to our mindset, our feelings, our emotions, our actions, like how we interact with the world?
I see more commonality than difference. It's grounding, it's nature, fresh air, etc., that allows for nurturing of the soul and the mind to be free and easy to associate to whatever we need to tap into.
And peace, like quiet. You hear the sounds in the forest, you hear the sounds of the beach, calming.
Okay, Max, Tam?
The commonality of being grounded with nature and just being able to breathe freely, knowing that it's clean, fresh air. Like I just put myself right there. There's just nothing quite like that. So it just, totally be there, whether it be in the forest or by the water. The commonality would be just nature and the essence, and away from the noise, I think, of our busy society and what the hustle and bustle of our like this is completely an escape. So to be able to go there in our minds in the middle of normal everyday life, like that's a gift. That's amazing.
What do you think, Max?
I also like the authenticity of nature. I used to, there were some times in my life I'd listen to Ram Dass almost obsessively, and he used to say this thing like, why do we judge other people? Like you don't look at a tree, say, oh, look at these trees, this tree's fat, this tree's bent over, this tree's broken, this tree's too thin. Like we do that to people, but like we wouldn't do that to a tree. For me, nature like is so imperfect that it's perfect, and it's also so perfect that it's just perfect. Whereas some cities are just so boxy and artificial, and while there can still be beauty in a city, what I like about nature is it's not trying to be anything, and that to me is inspiring. The fact that it is what it is, and it naturally destroys itself, it naturally regenerates itself. It's refreshing, it's free energy, and it has many forms. Like even forests, different places don't look the same, but there's still similarities. Deserts, beaches are still beautiful in their own different ways.
The water has energy in itself. Like if you put I've seen some videos where you put like a device on the water, like a wheel, and then you could generate electricity from that. Okay, now we talked about the commonalities. I'm not trying to ostracize Max. I'm just trying to get a clear picture here. You guys were like, oh no, let's bring him in. Okay, well that's fine. But what is the contrast between the mindset of the forest as an ideal picture and being on the beach or to being on a mountain? What do these things symbolize to us?
Water's like flow. They're all different elements. Water's like flow. Forest, I've always been kind of like an earthly person, that's me. So sometimes I can be kind of slow. Sometimes sometimes I can, people tell me I'm a grounding force, like when they're near me or in my energy. I also like water. Water has currents, so it tends to have patterns. Both you can see it in the waves, for example, but also you can feel it under the surface that you wouldn't see. Whereas there's patterns in the forest too, especially you look at a tree from below or the way that trees have grown. So there's different beings and different kind of spiritual energies in all of these places. The desert too, like has crazy energy.
The forests
And I
have
think
tree gods from Game of Thrones.
yeah, and I've recently watched some like animes that were like Japanese like forest spirits being portrayed, and like I think they hit on different elements, like different like, archetypes of different elements.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Exactly. Yes. You see this, and then to Billy Joe's point about the masterminding idea. This is why I do this. Instead of just my own feeble mind, I have more people here with me. That makes 5, and now I don't have to think about everything. The hardest thing, like, is when you're trying to think of something really hard, you get a headache. You're like, oh, I'm trying to make this work. I'm outsourcing. It's whenever, if you have like I spoke to a biomechanic the other day. This is like a step up from like physical therapy, and she said that the reason why transitions are so hard is because every time we are transitioning, we are learning something new. Our brain is literally birthing a new brain cell. Like, it's literally creating new brain cells, and this is why this is why we get tired from thinking, because your brain is actually creating like cells, and you're like, if you imagine your brain is like,
also creating new neural pathways and associative thinking. And the hardest part of starting something new is your amygdala, your ancient brain, is attempting to keep you safe, and the new is unsafe. In ancient times, the new was always unsafe. There might be a tiger, a lion, a bear, or something there to get us. So the brain is designed to keep us safe, the ancient part of our brain, and that steps in and says, well, you're not good at this, it's unsafe, you get hurt, i.e. lose money or other stuff that isn't like getting eaten today, but it still hurts. You get your heart broken. Therefore, you shouldn't step into this arena. The conscious brain, when we tap into outside of us sources using our brain palace, we can bring in, if we're dating, relationship experts to teach us what we need to know, to reassure us, that will allow us to move forward. If we're building a business, we can have business minds, like I mentioned earlier, all on our board of directors or in our virtual brain library or palace, to allow us to move forward easily, even though there's still a challenge, because we're still rewiring those nerve endings and creating new brain cells. In fact, your brain burns more calories than the whole rest of your body, even if you're running a marathon. A chess master sitting in a chair will burn 3,000 to 3,500 calories in a 2-hour chess match and never get out of the chair.
Is that why poker's on ESPN?
Poker is another.
Tammi Joe's like, fuck the gym. I'm going for chess now.
Like, geez, I gotta revamp some thinking here. Literally.
Here's the catch-22 to it, though. If you create a calorie deficit by, say, cutting calories long term, this is a long-term thing, or going to the gym more, not throwing exercise under the bus. We need to do that for quality of life. But you up the level, say an extra 500 calories worth of running or biking or swimming or whatever. If you don't fuel that, your brain will downregulate its metabolistic rate to accommodate that, such that you'll actually gain weight in the long run, even on less calories net, no matter how
I think that's happened to me.
However, when you change how you eat and what you eat, your brain will optimize because you're not restricting calories, and at the same time, when your hormones and stuff will balance, and the weight will naturally want to go away.
Let's go to the next part here. When I step into my mental space, Tammi Joe on the mountain, on the water, Jenna on the water, Billy Joe also on the water, and Max in the forest. What do you see? What do you see there? What scent, what sound, what object greets you?
I don't know if there's an object. Like, to me, what I see is possibilities. I just see endless possibilities, and a place where I can, like we were talking about, like shut everything else out and be open to receiving and open to listening. Because what you were saying before about, having this boardroom and having these people, like, the other part of that is you have to be open to hear what they're saying, right? And accept it. And like, I know for me, that's tough sometimes.
You're not a good listener.
My mind is just always racing. Like, I'm always thinking about a million different things. But yeah, it's like, you have to also like quiet down to listen, to be able to receive the messages and receive the guidance that you're looking for.
Okay. You don't see any objects? You don't see any No? Rock? Anything? No? Okay. Tammy?
For me, the water represents, I want to kind of go back to one of the last question that you had addressed, like the difference between, because for me, the water represents so much freedom and all things are possible. And so I haven't had moments in different countries where I've stood in water or the ocean and it just feels like there's no end of possibility. And yet there's an element of feeling how powerful it is and how minute I am, how minuscule I am. So you feel extremely vulnerable and yet so totally overtaken by the opportunity and by freedom and by power. So I don't so much see an object as I see and feel the freedom of it. And in the forest, I would feel safety and would feel cozy. And so I love both sensations and both feelings. But I think looking towards my future, I've been more impacted by the idea of hope for the future and knowing that anything is absolutely possible. And that to me has been literally represented in having some very epiphany type moments standing in the ocean and the power of it. And I have an innate fear to water. So it's been more visceral to me because I have this fear of having nearly drowned as a child. And so to be in it, there's this, my body goes into this complete juxtaposition of pure excitement and almost being terrified in the same moment. And it's like it stretches everything in my mind and my soul, which feels very alive.
Anybody else have a near drowning experience when they were a child? Okay, I do. I almost drowned. My mom saved me. She pulled me out of the pool. I was ready. I already gave up. I said, okay, well, this is it. I was like 7 or like, I think now.
Yes, I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, so I said, I'm dead. And then my mom's like, pulled me out of the water. That was fun.
I remember going under in the panic of going under. And then after like dying, drowning would be very peaceful, very easy. What was painful was coming back with the gasping and the bringing you back around. That hurt. The dying part would have been easy. Was once you, like you say, once you just give up, it's very peaceful.
Right.
But yeah, I've in the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to scuba dive. And let me tell you, it goes through all the emotions to do that. I'm sure you would understand.
Damn. Well,
Terrifying.
yeah, I never really learned how to swim, and now I'm like, and I've tried at different times, and now it's like I'm actually I go to the beach every morning, so I'm right
good
now
for
getting in the
you.
water. Yeah. So all right,
Amazing.
Max, Billy, what is it?
It's just-
What do you see? What scent? What sound? What do you see there in your environment? We're trying to create. I see. You guys said so. Jenna said possibility. Tammy said freedom, and then she says safety in the forest. I get it. The feeling. What we're trying to do here, if we can, I understand like it's a gradual process, but see if you can actually imagine things being there in that environment. Go ahead, Billy.
Well, my environment, as I started to describe earlier, is a boardroom with air conditioning and all the modern conveniences, but a humongous set of glass windows so I can take in the energy of the ocean. They open up so we can have it in as fresh air on good weather days, close up so we can watch the beauty of the storm on a bad day. Has the back wall, has huge LCD panels so we can watch presentations or network in a video situation like this, etc. And there's a humongous round table in the room that seats like 50 plus with cushy Aeron type chairs, so they're super comfortable, totally adjustable to each person, and allows a total freedom of us to network and power our minds back and forth together. Between everybody who's there. The table is made out of wood because wood's a very nice element. It's made out of different kinds of wood and they're mosaic together by a master craftsman to produce a total beautiful piece of wood that we can intake everything over and share ideas across. And it's round so that everybody can see everybody because there's nobody in charge per se. However, as a total mind together, we can create and achieve more of the Knights at a Round Table kind of an image. All of the power of the best computers is available to us, as well as the mind computer of the collective minds. And I also want to speak to the energy thing. I grew up in Montana in the forest. I vacationed on the beaches of the world, and I spent 20 years in the desert. When you get out of the city, we get to all of what we're talking about with energy, because even the desert has flowing stuff like air, and at times it has massive amounts of flowing water. It can be the real commonality I see here is of the beauty of the grounding and the nature and getting out of the process of the city.
What do you see? What do you smell? What sound? What object greets you in your forest?
I mean, most of my I'm from Vermont. Most of my forest experience is there, and it's been a long time since I've been there. And so I like that picture of Tammy Joe's background, just like both closed in the sense that there's a lot of trees and brush and stuff, but open as in like there could be a path, there could be a clearing. So a bit of both. Because in the forest, you can always find space. You can find space for a tent, you can find space to bike. Winter, you can find space to ski, So I see there's possibilities for all seasons too. I grew up with 4 seasons, for extreme seasons. And so it's not necessarily one color, but what I do see is the green. So I guess I'm referring to summer or spring. And there's animal sounds, but there's also just a breeze. And that's something that I feel like a slight breeze. I see, like the leaves in my background here, like the leaves are kind of moving a bit. Like it's still, but it's not actually still. It kind of depends on how much you zoom in with your perspective. There's very likely like ants that are going to crawl on your legs, sit down, like little bugs. Like it's very much alive. And certain trees might have like sticky sap if you touch them. Different textures, all kinds of textures. Very likely rocks. So yeah, if I had to say one specific place, so I like when there's rocks to sit on, like especially when it's like the perfect rock for your ass, or it doesn't hurt. Or like a fallen log. You all know what I mean. Like sometimes you can't find a good rock,
Totally.
or a good tree stump or something.
Yeah, they're the best.
But there would be not a single mosquito, so that's definitely one thing. There would not be a single mosquito or black fly or something. And yeah, there'd be nice bird sounds and hear some animals. Because what's interesting about forests is they're both open, as in like you can look around, you can see, especially when there's a path, even when there's tons of leaves like obscuring your sight, I mean, you can still see ahead of you. And in the night it's a little different, but even at night. So what I like is there's this openness. Now imagine at night there's also this closedness. You don't know if a tiger is going to come out or a bear out of nowhere. It would appear like it's coming out of nowhere, and that happened in the daytime too. So there's this really interesting paradox of it feeling open and closed at the same time. But I'd be in an open space with some places to sit. There'd be shade, also some sun access, and it would be a place where you could see, hey, here's where I put like the little huts. Here's where I would put a place to cook. Like this would be the perfect place to meditate or just sit and chill. Like I play music, so here would be like the music place.
Excellent.
And
So here's what I see here. Here's what I see here. You guys ever seen the show Lost? You haven't seen it? Okay. So in Lost, they're in a desert island. Picture this group here, us 5 in a desert island. But we each decide to go to separate ways. For example, Max has control of the forest. He said, I'm gonna go to the forest. Fuck yeah. And then Billy Joe has like the mountaintop, with his boardroom table. He built it from scratch. He has like his little domain there. Then Jenna is like in the water, like she will never leave the water. Like, that's where she's at. And then she's over there with like all the fish, right? Like Aqua Woman. Aqua girl.
Mermaid, siren, whatever you call it.
and then Tammy Joe is on the cliff on the beach. Like she's got like the cliff on the beach. Like we're in all the movies where like they would jump off that cliff. That's where that's her domain. And then I'm on the sand. Like this is me. I'm the sand guy. I'm the sand crab. That's why I'm like a Cancer, right? So from this point, let's do a little intro break and let's determine, okay, do these type of places say something about us? And let's try to connect that. So let's start with Tammy. Tammy, who are you and what do you do? And does that connect to your cliff?
Okay, who am I? Number one, I'm a creative. I'm an interior designer. I'm an artist. So I'm always using my imagination, always creating, always exploring, always curious about everything. And I love to explore. So I feel like my brain is quite childlike in that realm. I get quite excited about all little things, and yet always anticipating the new. So I guess in relation to the cliff and the water, there's always a level of uncertainty, of change, of nothing's ever the same. Things are always growing and moving and shifting, and yet there is a calmness and a groundedness to it. And I think that would very much describe my personality. Like I'm quite bouncy and bubbly, and yet in the same sense, I like to go hide in a corner and just really find my center, be in nature. I book myself clients that are just me in the forest. And like I have a board meeting and I am in the trees. and there's usually water there, and I'll just go disappear for a couple of hours, and that's just what I need to recharge. And so I've kind of got a duality to my personality that I think is also that duality that would be reflective of the sharpness of the rocks and then the fluidity of the water.
Beautiful landscape, Jenna.
I like what Max said earlier about the water, which is the flow. So I guess I'll do my intro.
Yeah. You can touch on that. You want to touch on that?
I will.
Okay.
And it's interesting that this is bringing up because I'm like, actually, what I do for a living is probably the opposite of that. Because I do business coaching, AI consulting.
Hold on a second. Whoever's got the background noise, just mute it and then unmute it whenever you need to talk. Is that fine? Okay.
So I feel like that's very masculine, you know, if we're to go like polarity, like very masculine, business, numbers, things like that. But like I'm a water sign as well. So I'm a Pisces, which I think is why I went straight to the water. And it's flow, you know. Also, I love to write, which I feel like is also flow. That's kind of like my inflow. That's my meditation. And resilience came up. Like just like no matter what, like it's always going to be there. The water's always going to be there. It's always going to be flowing, like no matter what happens to it. And I feel like that's my personality. Like no matter what happens, I always just keep going, keep flowing, keep staying open to the possibilities, even if it looked really bad.
Interesting. And who are you? What do you do?
I'm a business coach and AI consultant.
Okay. All right, let's go to Billy.
Well, what I do ties to kind of my boardroom in a way and other nature settings. What I do is I help your body, or frustrated obese people, maximize their metabolism, harmonize their hormones so that their bodies naturally want to let the fat go away because a healthy body does not want to be fat. It'll have a little bit of love handles maybe because that's for life preservation during, say, a minor famine or whatever. However, our naturally healed bodies do not want to be fat. Yeah, most every diet out there and every exercise program is fighting your metabolism, and I learned to work with it and harmonize the whole system. And that speaks to my boardroom, is on nature. I've had it at different times because I've been doing this a while in the desert and in the forest, but it's always been a nature setting where the boardroom existed. The only reason it's a boardroom is so I can have the table and conveniences and chairs so everybody can sit around. However, like I had a home where I had a virtual boardroom outside that I had big square rocks brought in, landscape rocks, set around a fire pit so we could all sit on a rock with our comfortable butt on a rock thing and have a talk with the fire pit, and it was surrounded by bushes and trees. So it was literally, we were just in there alone. You couldn't actually see into that spot. You could see the fire come through the leaves and stuff, but you couldn't see who was in there without entering that alcove. Allows me to be in touch with nature and flow and harmonize things. And to me, that's the real trick of nature. Even when you're in the desert, there's a certain harmony, even in the forest and even on the beach.
So in short, I think it was last year, I came up with, because the who am I has been the house question I like to answer for forever. And I came up with, I am an alchemist of creativity. And I feel that encompasses everything that I do. You know, what that means is taking one thing and creatively outputting it, some form of expression. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, it just changes form. That's how I feel when I have an instrument in my hand. I'm not really learning other people's songs as much as I'm just taking what's in the moment and interpreting it in the way that's natural for me. And I like to think of it as translate. And what I do for a living is I have a business teaching online guitar lessons. And also, after 2 times giving up, I made to the calling of being a coach, and essentially like a marketing coach, making organic marketing easy for people who are easily overwhelmed by that incorporates habits and mindset and just calming your mind that's racing. But the window that I found to basically put my messaging through is I help you become confident in videos, and you're shy on videos. It's much more than that, and I'm realizing that as I help with that it's really opening up to marketing in general. That's a really good first step. But then after that, you want to see your videos get seen. And I really view a personal brand as an art form, like a true art form, just like a song, just like a painting. It's your cultivation of what's inside of you. And of course, like no art, no video. I mean, Jenna, you're an actor, right? No portrayal is like truly you. It's a portrayal. It's like an external output. But that's what creativity is. That's what products are. That's what creative pieces are. I really feel that a personal brand is like that. As you can put your whole heart and soul into it. It can really be creative. Like when I was a kid, I thought everyone who was rich was a horrible person, and I was like so aversive to money and to marketing and business, and I've really 360 on that. I thought it was all about the music. Now, at one point, I realized I didn't want to be the musician who just says, check my stuff out, and basically egotistically expecting people to just like it because it's out. I think the personal brand with social media nowadays is really a true art form, and it's a way of alchemizing that creativity inside of you. That's also going to be a part of who you present yourself to be outside of a marketing context too, because it's all created, or it's all connected. Sorry, it's all connected. It's all the same place. That's who I am. I'm a traveler and someone who speaks many languages. Marketing, music, just being two of them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we got a guitar coach, weight loss coach, a graphic designer, and an AI consultant and professional dating show guy. All right, beautiful. Okay? Next question. Create your first room. And then let's try, because we're almost gonna be running out of time here soon. So let's try to be brief. Let's try to be at 1 to 2 minutes in these questions here, because we're gonna get to a point where like we're trying to extract the gold from this gold mine, which is this brainstorming session, trying to get actionable, solid things that we can get out of it and utilize. So create your first room. This is the room of, could be strength, calm, vision, forgiveness, creativity, your future self, etc. What lives there? A memory, a symbol, a phrase, a person? Start with Tammi Jo.
Well, I'm gonna go right now. I'm building the art side of my life. That's where my brain is at. So I'm gonna go right to the art studio that is on the cliff by the ocean. And I'm very tactile. So in my space, even though it's not practical, I've got all kinds of soft, fluffy rugs underneath my toes and a beautiful organized display of all the paints and the brushes, because you've got to have all kinds of options and brushes. And there's about 4 to 5 easels, big canvases on the walls that I'm working on. And I like to do 4 to 5 at once. So my space is just surrounded with the freedom of creativity. Definitely where the gallery is, it's full glass, the studio is, so that I can see and take in all of the sounds of the ocean and the water. And it's just all, yeah, I can just breathe it all in, let it all in. And a cozy a beautiful, so there's got to be a swing in the corner. All my spaces have to have a swing. Has to have a swing in the corner that I can curl up in and sit back and contemplate my work. Now it's finished.
Okay, is the swing connected to a tree? Like a big
it could be, or the swing
maybe?
could be, the swing could be right in the studio. I would have it right close to my art so I can sit there and have that swinging sensation and movement whilst I am letting the inspirations flow through me. It's very much things like literally flow through the brush. So many times, what I was thinking I was going to paint, that's not what comes out of the brush, and we just let it flow. And so just being able to sit there in the energy of that space and then sit on my swing. And then when the moment comes, just go to whichever canvas calls me. That would be my perfect spot, my perfect room.
Masterpiece. Jenna.
My room is like the first thing that came to mind was royalty. And the green. I like the color green that Tammi Jo is wearing, like emerald green, royal purple, gold, like just this beautiful space to refresh and rest, and royalty, riches. It's the first thing that came to my mind. I like it.
So you're in the water, you got green, royalty. Okay. Do you have like a raft, or are you under the ocean? Do you have your own Atlantic?
Oh no, I have my maybe it's like a little hut on the beach. It's on the beach.
A manifestation hut.
My actual room, yeah, that's my manifestation.
An emerald manifestation hut. Okay. Nice. I believe Joe.
Well, I described my room. However, the key aspect of it is the veranda that takes in the western sunset. The exterior has big, comfy deck chairs and a glider bench, kind of the swing Tammi Jo was talking about, that I can sit next to my future queen. And there's handy to that veranda a small kitchen where we can have coffee or other things made quickly and easily, and not have to leave nature really to have it. And that allows me to be really tied into the harmony of nature and the energy flow that comes. And to me, that's one of the key aspects. No matter where I'm at in the world, I love nature, whether it's the desert, the forest, or the beach. The forest, even on places like Thailand, the jungle forest, all forests, Montana, etc. There's a certain energy that comes from being in nature. And I think several of us have spoken about it, that purity, that authenticity, that allowing ourselves to be in our flow. Because I know when I'm in the flow, things download, whether it comes from, some people want to call it God or the universe or higher power or whatever. When that inspiration downflows, inflows, and is within me, I am inspired to move forward and create, whether it be another video to teach or to take on somebody one-on-one to help them recover their health in ways beyond just weight loss.
Excellent. So we got flow.
So what would that room look like?
This is the room of strength, calm, vision, forgiveness, creativity, your future self. What lives there? A memory, a symbol, a phrase, a person.
I feel like this room would be, it's interesting because I've thought more about like a full house rather than like a specific room. Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to kind of be cliche for myself, like it's going to be super musical, but it's not my only passion. Basically, there'd be, the room is symbolic for both flow, like creativity, flow, and structure, which does speak to, like, that's like masculine and feminine, like coming together, and, some kind of marriage between the two without needing it to necessarily be two separate beings, for example, within me. And yeah, I mean, what's funny is I feel like I have answers to this that are not coming to me right now. Like the perfect
Well,
phrases.
let me tell you the feedback from what you said. So you want it's a musical room. You have guitars. You have, just like Tammi had her canvases and easels. You have your guitars. You have your amps. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is what I see. You tell me.
Yeah. Well, I could definitely envision like a music studio, like an ideal like music studio. But I like the idea of, I mean, now I'm on Zoom calls like 12 hours a day sometimes, and they're all about coaching, like marketing and stuff. And I have a massive passion for that too. I'm actually doing that way more than I'm doing music. And, so I had like financial issues for the past few years, and I find when I'm broke, I'm like really not creative. And so that's getting better. So I've been playing more music lately, but there's something to be said for like the separation. I think it'd be great to have a room just for like creativity, and a room like musical creativity, artistic creativity, and a room dedicated more to like structured creativity, and a room for like recharging. It's kind of like neither, more neutral, because I'm a big believer of like finding your center rather than like just trying to be overly happy all the time, because I don't think we should suppress like anger and sadness necessarily either. I don't think life's about that. I think it's more about being centered, where then you can choose to go. You don't choose happiness, but you choose to go through sadness. Sorry, you choose to go through those lower emotions rather than reject them. Because being too happy all the time can also be coming from that negative place. I mean, it's good, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not truly feeling that.
Absolutely.
So I guess what's coming to me is like that centered room, because for sure there's no way I could be anywhere without a place for music. Like, that's a given for me. And I always find a place. I mean, I'm at an outdoor cafe right now. I always find a place for the more structured business stuff too. And it's that center that I think I sometimes miss. And so I like things like gemstones and crystals and more grounding symbols. Maybe petrified wood would be really cool. It's kind of both. It's wooden and it's a gem. And symbols that were probably like artistically drawn symbols that I got from a very creative person who that represent that flow coming from a center place. And like a spiral. I like those Celtic vase designs, what I'm talking about, that sometimes you can walk them. They're like outdoors and you can walk them, which symbolize like flow of energy. And sometimes even like coiled wires, like for batteries and stuff, resemble those as well. Yeah, like a labyrinth where you can go to recharge, but it's also a room where you can just remember, and there's calm, and the energy is very much moving, but it's not necessarily going to be full. Maybe there's a guitar in there or something, but it's not necessarily going to be the music studio. It's not necessarily going to be the perfect Zoom place, although it could work for both of those. So I'm seeing like that room of the center, like that central pillar.
Yeah. Here's what I'm getting from this. It's music. What is music used for? It's used for communicating, leading. What is your coaching? What is the marketing coaching? You're communicating and you're leading. It's the same essence underneath, So that's what I'm getting from that. Let's go to number 4. Assign emotional anchors. This room helps me return to the feeling of. Why would you return here? What does it restore in you, Jenna?
Peace, away from everything that we're inundated with all day long. Messages from other people's agendas. I just get to be there with myself and God, the universe.
Tammi?
I'd say grounding, breath, and dance comes to mind. Just love to move with the flow and the fluidity. So to be able to be grounded and just breathe and do very fluid, slow dance in that space just brings you back to the essence.
Billy?
Kind of with Jenna and Tammy Joe. Peace, grounding, enough room for flow and movement, openness to both receive and to give.
Presence is what comes out. Presence and stillness, but also openness and stability.
Okay. So, all right. So walk us through, if you're ready, All right, if you're ready, we already got the walkthrough from Billy Joe. I want to walk through from Jenna and Tammy. We already got one from Tammy as well. She's got the easels and stuff. I want to walk through like what does this emerald hut look like? What's in it? What's around it?
Oh, I
You
would
know?
say the outside doesn't match the inside. So it's like a hut on the beach, right? Or a little cabana or something. But then you walk in and you literally feel like you're an ancient royalty with just like silk blankets. I mean, obviously there's a bed because I like being in my bed to rest and recharge. But the emerald green, the royal purples, the golds, like it literally is gonna feel like you're like an ancient royalty when you walk into that room.
You're trying to be Cleo. Interesting. Okay.
Then I imagined those houses, those like tents from Harry Potter that look really small, and then you open it and it's like a whole house. It's like 100 times bigger. And so that's what I imagined.
Okay. Now we're in the last part here. Let's start wrapping up. Let's start summarizing. And the topic today is building your mind palette. We built something here. I already know what your good place looks like. How do you find yourself going back to this place after the Zoom, and what do you imagine yourself doing there from now on? Let's say we never speak again. Like we all just something happens like where we just don't talk again. Like we get busy, we go into a different path. Do you see yourself going back to this place, and do you feel that we could see each other again without even calling each other? Jenna.
I do. Yeah. I do that. Actually, just like, I'm silly. I just posted a meme the other day that said something like, I'm flirting telepathically today. So if you start giggling out of nowhere, it's me. So I already
love that. That's awesome.
I already do that. I always tap into different people's energies, or if somebody's not around, I feel like I can subconsciously like tap into them and like get messages to them and stuff. So I could see us. I mean, I could see you guys there as well.
Okay, wait, hold on. I got some questions now. Are you telepathically flirting with any celebrities that I know? Any NBA players?
Oh, no. No, I'm like not anti-celebrity, but I'm definitely not a person who idolizes celebrities. Like I'm like, they don't care about us. Like who cares? Like, why would I give my time and energy to that? It's a good idea though.
Now she's thinking.
What about you, Tammy Joe?
Oh, I think this has been fascinating. I'm going to go right back to the beginning and just bring forward what Billy Joe had said about the boardroom and all the people. And it's so interesting to me that you said that, because I was on a walk here 2 days ago and I got caught in a rainstorm and I was completely drenched all the way through. And ironically, today is the Lionsgate 8/8 portal. And I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with that, but I feel like we've all been just setting in.
Please explain this thing before you continue. Please define this thing, whatever this is.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go deep into the Lionsgate portal. You can look it up, but it's basically just a really fantastic day for manifesting. So if you are somebody who believes in manifesting, then today is extra powerful, just the way literally the stars are aligned and just the timing and the energetics and all of that. So to be able to, in my mind, what I have built and described to you is very much what I build in my mind, and I know I'll have in the future one day. And I will be by the ocean. I will have an art gallery or art studio. And my goal with my interior design is like just kind of dialing that back, bringing the art to the forefront, because I plan to be able to paint from anywhere in the world. And that is the goal. And I feel like today, just bringing forward the awareness of how much we're connected to each other and how we can, I want to say join forces, yes, but just be connected to other people's life paths and encourage each other it's just been a great inspiration to just bring that forward. And when I was on my walk where I started before I derailed myself with the 8/8 portal, is I've had some very key people that have passed in the last few years. And sometimes I feel there's connections to them. And I was literally with some of the big stuff that's coming down the pipe. I'm like, okay, I need help with this. My stepdad can help me with this. I need help with this. My dad can help me with that. I need help with this. Yeah, my grandmother can help me with that. And it was literally going through all these things that I know they would have been their strong points and asking them for their help. And these are all past people. And so it makes me think of what Billy Joe had said with the boardroom of, kind of calling forward people that you would want to ask their advice and thoughts from.
The
I've gone really woo-woo on you.
Yeah, I know it's fine. You don't want to go into it, but I am good because like I can't just leave this blank. The Lionsgate portal is a modern spiritual astrological term for a period of each year, peaking on August 8th when the sun is in Leo, aligns with the star Sirius. Sirius. The Orion's belt constellation and the Earth in a way, so it's like a three-way alignment. Like the sun is in Leo, aligns with the star. Okay, so the sun aligns with Sirius, the Orion's belt constellation, and the Earth. So it's like the sun with Sirius, the Orions, and the Earth. So it's like four-way alignment in a way that some spiritual communities say creates a strong energetic gateway for manifestation, transformation, and higher consciousness. Why it's called Lionsgate? When the sun is in Leo, so lion, Leo. And astrologically, this time is seen as fiery, confident, heart-centered. The gate refers to the idea of an opening or alignment in the cosmos. All right, interesting.
Good day for this podcast.
Yes, this podcast is brought to you by the Lionsgate studio. Billy Joe.
So my boardroom always has what I call the Force available. If we think about Star Wars and the characters of past are always still there because they're alive in the Force, I think that there's something similar to the Force in the real world, in that we can tap into the ancient wisdom of our ancestors, as well as the wisdom of great teachers from the past, like Napoleon Hill, or the sages, the Stoics, etc. We can bring forth their wisdom by just associative memory in our virtual boardroom in our own head, in our mind palace. And that's why I have a round boardroom, so I can see them all and allow, when one of them has inspiration to fade in, I can call on that person because I can see it versus me commanding who's speaking, which allows me to be in the flow of receiving the download, the information, the inspiration to move forward to help others.
Tony Robbins talks about back to the boardroom. He talks about like how the biggest drawback is not like not having resources, it's not being resourceful. So like resources,
not tapping into your resourcefulness.
Yeah, so if you could have like a boardroom, like not it doesn't have to be a boardroom, like, but the essence is having like a place where you have all the resources that you need at your disposal. What would that look like for you, Max?
So I've had visions about this, and they came up in some like hypnosis sessions that I've done, and so this is actually been for me. And I'm not just like skipping the question and going back to that. Like when I thought about the question, this is literally what popped up. It's the same thing, and it blew me away what came up when it's come up with multiple people in multiple kind of meditation social sessions, things I didn't even think would exist. But it's like in a forest, like a house that's aligned to true geography, like kind of like the pyramids are, like that's consciously aligned, conscious architecture, and but at the same time it's kind of modern. So there's kind of like some angles, but it's still kind of boxy. It's a wraparound porch. There's a swimming pool, which is what really surprised me, and there's space for a music studio. There's space for like a podcast studio and basically Zoom calls. There's a lot of open places to sit and host gatherings, and there's a big kitchen. There's an outdoor place to cook and host things. And for me, it has everything, because just the fact that it's in nature, that provides a lot. And there's resources there, like for fires, for foraging, and also just for expansion for yourself and recharging. The nature has everything. And for me, I've consciously filled it with drums and with studio monitor speakers and keyboards and guitars and bass guitars and microphones and sound. It's a soundproof room. There's a place for yoga and meditation, both indoors and outdoors. There's use of the sun, the power. It could very well be off-grid. That would be amazing. There's rainwater filtration. And so everything is used. Everything is conscious. And for me, I do need the music. I don't need it every day. On some level I do. But as long as I'm serving people, which I can do so remotely, and also host at this place. And music is one way I serve people, but through offering sessions and really help optimize that creativity within themselves, realize that they have it already, to ask themselves the right questions, guide them, not get them, guide them. That place can be very, very resourceful. You can find beautiful rocks, beautiful pieces of wood that can decorate the indoor and outdoor. My grandma built at one point a chandelier of deer antlers. I really loved that idea at like this cabin that she had at one point. And it would serve all of those needs, both modern needs, kind of Billy Joe said, like, still like some modern comforts, even though being in and the elements. So it would have that, but it would also have like you could also have the ability to turn it into like an off-grid type of feeling, like directly in nature.
Okay. All right. Well,
for me that covers it.
yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So, and here's the last thing, the last question that we're gonna do today. It's basically, so once we have these environments, we're pretty much very clear on what these rooms look like and what these resources look like. How can we use this room in the next week in order to create or manifest or birth these new brain cells that we need to birth and create? Now, for me, it's creating $1 million brain cells. Create some $1 million brain cells. What's that for you, Jenna?
I mean, I love the idea of it being 8-8 and the manifesting, and just, I think collectively we all are kind of craving that peace and just being away from like the digital world and constant stuff and messages and people. And I feel like to go back there and be silent and listen. And that's what I would like to do. I like the $1 million ideas. I would like to manifest $1 million ideas.
$1 million idea brain cells. I'll share with you how to do that later. Tammy Jo.
I'm gonna say it's just grounding in and inspiring me even more to where I was already headed for in regards to that, like magic money, I call it, and looking for things that genuinely help people. And so this just sets this into place, and being such a great day to be putting these things into motion just feels like it's all aligned. So I'm just excited for it all. Definitely here for it all.
We're here for it all, Billy Joe. Are you here for it all?
Well, I'm manifesting billionaire brain cells with the power to influence and change and augment lives globally. And that comes from a place of the great teachers, the great inspirations of life, from great art, from great thinkers, from great spiritual leaders, etc. And connecting to me is one of the keys. While you're in flow, be connected to, like for me, my future queen is already somewhere in my sphere. Her and I haven't made the sparks. We know each other, we're in each other's sphere of influence, and we're just both probably finishing who we are enough to have the ignition of our relationship. And also the connection to my clients and the people who I'll influence, and how that's going to change in my aspect, the diet world, the gym world, forever impact it going forward, so that my knowledge will be taken up by some of the greatest people of the world who have a much bigger stage and made common knowledge instead of uncommon knowledge.
Max.
Do you mind just repeating the exact question again?
Yeah, so now you have this room is super clear to you. And then to also explain to Alejandro what we're talking about, the topic today is mind palace. So we've been through all of our rooms, our mind palace. We created a mind palace in each of our minds. What does it look like? The ideal mind palace. So Jenna is in the water on a beach. She's the literal water. Billy Joe is like a mountain. Tammi Jo is on a cliff on the water, and then Max is on the forest. So I'm the sand. I'm on the sand because I'm the sand crab. All right. So there you go. So Max, so the question was, what? Now you have your place. It's very clear. All of your resources and everything. How can you use this room in the following week? While we're not around, you still go back into it. Would you use it, and what would you use it for?
Yeah, recharging and remembrance, and all of this is geared towards service. So grounding, finding my center, and eventually, I believe even abstaining completely from helping somebody directly, that as we become more centered and remember ourselves more, and I really like the shamanic way of if the word remembering, which is like you can think of dismemberment, like all your limbs cut off, and remembering, so coming back together, reintegration, and that's physical and spiritual, is a way of helping people. And it's proven that if one person meditates, let alone a group, the collective consciousness raises. So therefore, just you focusing on yourself, giving yourself what you need, filling your cup, is service to other people, let alone anything more direct than that. And it would help me do that. Come back to myself, come back to that center, and come back to that consciousness where every thought is conscious, every action is conscious. And therefore, when I'm helping somebody, it's the highest angle of my capacities and their needs. It's the highest angle of compatibility and every form of connection from there. And it really starts with first connecting to myself, so that I'm not serving people from an empty cup or even a full cup, but my cup is full and observing people from the overflow.
I see that and I feel it and I hear it and I know it. Alejandro, do you have this space for you? What does it look like? If we were to go into your mind palace right now, what would your mind palace looks like? What do you see? What do you get there? And let me just ask, I'm just gonna ask you all the questions real quick. It's super simple. So your mind palace location, where is it? When you step into your mind palace, what do you see? This is the room of what? This room helps me return to the feeling of, and then share a guided tour of this room for you that in your mind palace. What does it look like? What would you like it to bring you, or what does it bring you already?
Well, I am not 100% sure. I never done this before, but I know that I used to do meditation and I used to like go out into the space, and somehow there was like a temple somewhere out of, from planet Earth. Today, find a place, even though I moved to Medellin and I love here and I'm in the mountain, I love water. I always say that I want to live at least 3 or 6 months a year beachfront again. So I would say the beach. That's always what brings me peace, recharge my soul, and is the only thing that from Puerto Rico. At least I have a river nearby. But yeah, I would say the beach. That's for me like the best place.
Okay. And then to close out this, like we've already spent enough time on this, but so my friend Alejandro, he's an astrocartographer. And Alejandro, Tammi Joe was talking about how today is the Lionsgate portal. Do you know about this? Yeah, 8/8. Yeah.
Well, I don't know that much about it, but I know this 8/8. So I mean, if you want me to talk about the Lionsgate, I don't know what to say, but I know it's there.
Well, I would
say something about it, then I believe her.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to know like how we can connect this together. So let's say, because we were talking about, all right, so let's say that, I told you what each of the rooms look like from each of us. And then, so let's say if you ever watch Lost, the show Lost.
Oh, yeah, I did. I mean, I'm not a good person to talk about movies or anything, but I did see Lost, but I was like, what, 10 years ago? I don't know. I don't even remember what it was about. Besides, there was a plane that crashed or something.
Yeah, so let's say we're on a desert island, right? We're in a desert island, and each of us have a part of the island. Like I just want to see if there's a way to connect this to what you do, which is like determining, with the astrocartography, the areas and the ideal places to be, because we're talking about the mind palace. But like if we were to start a mind palace, where would be the great place to build our mind palace in our imagination?
Okay, well, I would say you need to know what you want in life first. You want to focus on business, you want to focus on love. I was doing a reading yesterday and it was curious because this guy had a lot of great places to move. Like I say, there's no good or bad. Sometimes too much of a good is also bad, but because if you have a lot of good food and you get fat if you eat and don't do exercise, so the good can turn into bad. But it was funny because he wanted all. He wanted to have a relationship, he wanted to be grow his business, but in his chart, long story short, he was from India and he was living in New Delhi. So he was like, okay, I want to be in Europe. I'm like, well, if you want to be in Europe, it's going to be good for your relationship. But if you want to really explode your business, you need to go to New York or to Colorado. Oh, that's too far away from my parents. Then you sacrifice what you want. You want the partner or you want the business? I mean, I would go for the business, and then when you're financially free, you find the partner because you will be able to move around. If you don't have money, then it's harder, to keep up. You do you. So the same thing. What do you want? That's the first question. What do you rather have? I mean, some charts have a combination of things. Like right now, the only reason I moved to Medellin 2 years ago was because I have 2 planets, Jupiter and the moon. So I have 2 teams here working for me, but I don't have everything. That's why I want to move to, or at least visit sometime Vietnam or Thailand, which is in the other side of the world, exactly the opposite from Medellin. But yeah, what do you want? So I'm in my healing process. I'm in the business of helping other people heal too. So I'm fine here, but I know I will eventually move at least 2 or 3 months, maybe just 2 weeks, or maybe I just move. I have 3 cats, so it's not that easy to move around from the whole globe. I mean, around to the other place. But I mean, for me, I would say, what do you want in life? At least you have to, you gotta know. I mean, if you want to manifest something, you can say, okay, I let go, manifest whatever. Or I mean, and that's another way of doing it. Just get close to God, a relationship to whatever it's for you, any avatar or whatever. If if you get close, he knows what you're supposed to be here doing. So if you let yourself flow, then you'll create something. But I always say, at least you need to know what you want. Like, I think it's called the reticular activating system. You will have a lot of opportunities, but if you don't know what you want, then they might pass through and you will not see them. So it's always good to get yourself close to God, but also, and that's also, getting close to God is getting close to yourself, basically. What do I want? What my intuition says? You need to know what you want. So for the rooms, what do you want? I want beach. I want water. I love kite surfing. I love dolphins and manatees. I used to do that every day. I didn't see them very often, but I used to go to the beach every day, twice a day. And that's my best 3 years of my life. I was looking for some other stuff. It wasn't that good on my business side because I was an attorney and I didn't like being an attorney. So I moved here and everything fell into place. I don't have the beach, so I'm sacrificing that for now. So yeah. So I mean, I use astrology.
This man went from attorney astrologer.
I went from not happy to happy, whatever that means, or at least doing my best. I mean, happy as much as possible.
Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. For the last part is this. How can we sum up this Zoom in one word, one sentence, or one phrase? Let's start with Jenna.
Enlightening.
All right. Tammy Joe.
Exciting and inspiring.
Billy Joe.
Connection and flow.
Like that. Max.
Remembering.
And Alejandro for you.
Well, I
for
can only say
10
sorry.
minutes.
I can only say sorry for being late. I got here like 10 minutes late only, kind of. But I mean, you didn't see me or something, so I just left eventually. So sorry for that.
Sometimes I close my eyes to listen because like the different faces distract me, so I close my eyes. So maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, don't worry, that's fine. But sorry about that. But anyway, I always love to connect with beautiful people, so I would say connection for what that is for the last 10 minutes. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Alrighty. Thank you, everybody. I hope that you take this room with you into your life to make it useful for you.
Thank you.
That's all we got. All right, pleasure. I'm gonna start a Facebook group. If I don't message you, make sure you message me. And then just to try to connect the people that were on the Zoom, and we'll connect on there. I'll give you a little summary, and then send me your email for the recording from today.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Anything you guys want to plug anything in real quick? You got 20 seconds to plug something.
I'd just say, if you want to find me on social media, you can look me up by my full name, Billy Joe Arthur. I'm easy to find. Jenna found me last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, really quickly, and others from that same group. I love to connect with people who are looking to live a better life.
Excellent. Anybody else? You want to plug your business? Anything?
I just threw my website there, highstyle.ca, my interior design, and there's a sales page from there with explore artful journaling. And I love to do artwork that feels like manifestation pieces. So it can be beautiful, but there's all kinds of brilliant words layered behind all the paint and the magic. So taking it to the next level.
Take it to the next level. All right. Jenna, do you want votes for your for your content?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and Max
Jenna does good work. Jenna, she does some great work.
Okay, you want to plug Jenna's stuff?
I'll plug it for her. She shows up authentically and whole and doesn't put all. I mean, she uses AI to enhance stuff without hiding who she really is, which is that authenticity and vulnerability is so endearing. It makes me want to be her best friend.
All right, cool. Alejandro, you want to plug something?
My website is Alejandro Herriman. My social networks are in Spanish, so I don't know if that's anything that is worth in this room, but alejandroherriman.com is my English website, and you can see my readings and information about me. I just opened
Jenna, do you speak
website,
Spanish?
which is something about planet alignment. So I'll read that.
We can all read Spanish because right
Jenna,
now translate button.
Yeah, what's your ethnicity, Jenna? Are you black and white?
No, a lot of people think that. I'm actually Puerto Rican.
You're Puerto Rican.
Alejandro,
There
you're
you go, just like me. I'm all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I look a little bit white, but trust me, I have DNA of everything.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay. And then Max, would you like to plug anything? Where you go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm offering 5-day free challenges for my coaching. And I'm seeing that there's 2 offers. Get confident on video, which is more video content because everybody's confident on video because we're on video now. But more of the video content and then also general organic marketing. So that's my current offer at the moment. It's really fun. It's passionate.
Excellent.
Designed to help you express yourself more with less stress, more time.
Excellent.
And in general, be found on Facebook, Max Weltman. Sorry about the noise. As it's written here, Max Weltman. I look forward to you guys. Everybody's conversation's been amazing, so I really enjoyed the time hearing from you. reporting nothing to anybody. So I'd love to just follow everybody electronically for the moment.
Yeah, and then to end, I'd like to plug in my book. It's called Emotional Damage. It's on Amazon. It's by this guy named it's a good author. You know, I'm gonna write the name on the chat. Josiah Andujar Jr. And it's Emotional Damage. Emotional Damage on Amazon. You can find it there. And also, if you're looking to build anything in Florida, we got a construction company here, covenantbuilders.org as well. Those are the sponsors for today's podcast, and I'll see you guys next time, or if I never see you again in person, I'll see you in your mind palette. Bye everybody.
Bye. Take care. Thank you.